We are working on these IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 maps from Cambridge IELTS Book 20. In this video, we'll divide the task into 3 clear parts. First, understanding the question. Second, planning the answer. And finally, a complete sample answer. There are 2 maps. One shows the site of a farm in 1950. The other one shows the same site today. So this is a past-present comparison. A quick look tells us that some basic features remain the same, such as the road and the river. However, the upper part of the map, which had very little in 1950, now contains many new features. The question clearly says, summarize the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So this is a comparison task. This tells us 2 things. We should not describe every small detail, and we should compare the 2 maps, not describe them separately. We are not explaining reasons, we are not giving opinions. We are only reporting what we can see. For map questions, it helps to follow a simple planning checklist. First, look for features that are completely unchanged. That is, the things that are the same in both the maps. Next, find features that have changed slightly. This could mean something has changed in size, etc. Then check if anything has been removed or relocated to a different area. After that, focus on new features. That is, the things that are not there in the first map. If several new features are of the same type, such as parking areas or buildings, group them together in your description. Finally, notice if there is an overall direction of change. In map questions, this could be a land use shift, for example, farming to tourism, or it could be development for tourism or leisure, such as campsites, cafes, or entertainment areas. In most maps, there is an expansion of facilities or modernization. So we can mention that better infrastructure has been added. There could be residential development or commercial development. This step is optional, but it can help you write a strong and clear overview. So, in short, unchanged features first, then small changes, then removals or relocations, followed by new additions, and finally, the overall direction of change. Before we move on to planning, one quick point. In map questions, we can use compass directions like north, south, east, west, even if they are not shown in the question. So, north at the top, south at the bottom, east on the right, and west on the left. You can also use directions like northeast or southwest, but they are less important and don't need to be overused. Use directions only when they help clarity, not to describe every small detail. Now let's plan this map. First, we note what is unchanged. The road in the north and the river in the south stay the same. The farming areas, fruit trees, soft fruits, and vegetables are still in the same places, and farmhouse and chicken area also remain same. Next, we look for minor changes. The track from 1950 has been replaced by proper roads in the same place. You can briefly mention this triangular track, but this is not essential. Next is things that have been removed. The sheep area in the north has been removed completely. Then we check for relocations. The barn is still present, but it has been moved near the road close to the vegetable patch. There are several new features in the second map. These include the farm shop, holiday cottages, a camping field, solar panels, and 2 parkings. Because these are all new, they can be grouped together while writing. Finally, looking at the plan as a whole, we look for the overall direction of change. This area has been developed for tourism and solar or renewable energy. Now we start writing. We begin with paraphrasing the question, which simply means writing the same idea using different words and structures. On the screen, you can see several ways to paraphrase the same question. In the first paraphrase, we have used synonyms of some words and included the name of the farm, which is given with the maps. In the second paraphrase, notice that the sentence now focuses on comparison. Instead of saying changes, I've used the word compare. This is change in sentence structure, not just vocabulary. In the third paraphrase, we use passive voice. Changes to the layout are shown in the maps. The last paraphrase uses the word evolved. Evolved means changes that happen over a long period of time. This works here because the maps show the same place many years apart. All of these sentences do the same job. They only restate the question, they do not describe changes. Now, let's move on to the overview. The overview is a summary of the main changes. We don't mention details here. On the screen, you can see the main points from the plan. Below that, you can see three different ways to write the overview. The first version is simpler. It follows the planning very closely. Trappings here means all the usual features of a farm. So this sentence says that the farm was typical in 1950, but there was a major change in the north with development for tourism and solar energy. The second version gives the same information, but it uses slightly stronger vocabulary, such as mixed use area and infrastructure. The third version is more advanced. It uses longer sentences and more formal vocabulary, but the main idea is still the same. Remember, you don't need the most advanced version. A clear overview that reflects your plan is enough. After the overview, we move on to the body paragraphs where we compare the maps in detail. This is the plan we are following. We have already written the overview, so now we divide the remaining points in two body paragraphs. In the first body paragraph, we start with what is the same in both maps. That includes the road and the river. After that, we mention the southern part of the farm, where these five things are the same: fruit trees, soft fruits, vegetables, farmhouse, and chicken area. All remain the same. You'll also notice that I've included one new feature, the farm shop. You could choose to write this in the next paragraph with the other major changes, and that would also be fine. I've placed it here because it is located in the same southern area, which makes the description easier to follow. Finally, in this paragraph, we mention a minor change. The track that existed in 1950 has been replaced by a proper road. In the plan, we noted that the track was triangular, but this detail is not essential, so we can safely leave it out. Now, let's move on to the second body paragraph where we focus on the bigger changes. We start with what was removed. The sheep farming area in the north no longer exists. This is a complete removal, so it deserves clear mention. Next, we look at what was moved or relocated. The barn, which was in the southeast corner, has been located to the south near the vegetables field. It's important to use the word relocated here, not replaced. Because the barn is still there, only its position has changed. Then we mentioned that in the old location of the barn, holiday cottages have been built. Finally, we describe the new developments in the north. The former sheep area has been redeveloped to include a camping field, two parking areas, and solar panels. Notice this phrase indicating a shift towards. This part is not strictly necessary in task 1. The description is already complete without it. We include it only to summarize the direction of change in one sentence. If you're not comfortable with this kind of phrasing, you can simply leave it out and still get a good score. To sum up, this is the original question and this is our plan. The final answer has 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph paraphrases the question and gives an overview. It focuses on the main direction of change without going into details. The first body paragraph looks at what stayed the same and minor changes. The second body paragraph focuses on major changes, which includes what was removed, what was relocated, and the new developments. Some useful vocabulary and verbs are highlighted in the answer. But remember, this is not for memorizing sentences. The goal is to learn how to plan clearly, group information logically, and describe changes accurately. There is no single correct answer in writing task 1. What matters is clarity, comparison, and control of language. Before we sign off, let's quickly look at a few common mistakes. Very often, marks are lost not because of ideas, but because of small things we don't notice while writing. First, always pay attention to tense. Here we have an old map from 1950 and a present day map. So we naturally use past tense for 1950, present tense or present perfect tense to describe changes up to now. You'll notice a lot of present perfect tense in the answer. For example, has undergone, has been constructed, and has been redeveloped. We use this tense because we are describing changes over time, not events at one single moment. Next, notice the passive voice. In the answer, we write, a farm shop has been constructed, the barn has been relocated, and the track has been replaced. If we try to write these in active voice, we would have to say things like, the farmer has constructed a farm shop, someone relocated the barn, they replaced the track with a road. This creates two problems. First, the maps don't tell us who did the work. So adding the farmer or they is unnecessary. Second, writing task 1 is not about people or actions. It's about changes shown in the diagram. That's why passive voice is preferred here. It keeps the writing neutral, factual, and academic and focuses on what changed and not who changed it. In task 1, if you find yourself writing someone did this, it's usually a sign that passive voice is better. Now, look at the linking words. We use words like overall, however, similarly, and in addition. These help the examiner follow the comparison clearly. But notice that we don't use them in every sentence. They are used only where a contrast or addition is needed. Punctuation is another small but important area. Pay attention to commas after these transition words. And notice commas in long sentences and lists. Incorrect or missing commas can confuse meaning and they do affect accuracy and control. Remember, writing task 1 is about main features and comparison. It is completely fine to leave out minor details and group similar changes together. What you should not do is describe the first map fully, then describe the second map fully without comparing them. Comparison is essential. Finally, it is always better to use a simple word correctly than an advanced word incorrectly. Words like changed, removed, or moved are perfectly fine if they are used accurately. Advanced vocabulary is optional, accuracy is not. Writing task 1 is not about sounding impressive, it's about clear planning, clear comparison, and controlled language. If you do these well, you're already doing most of the work needed for a good score. Hope this helped you. See you in the next one. Bye for now. All the very best.